Okay, another way Pythagorean theorem can show up on the STAR test is when the question asks what the distance between 2 points is. Now, please don't get this confused with slope. Slope is rise over run when we're trying to find the slope of a line given 2 points. But when it comes to the distance between 2 points, okay, there are a few steps to follow. So the first step you want to do is draw your L that makes your legs of the right triangle. So I start at the highest point, I draw a straight line going down and then across, just like we did with slope, and then that forms my right triangle. Okay, then we're going to count how long the sides of the legs are. Now, obviously, I can't count how long the hypotenuse is because it's a diagonal, but we can count how long the sides of the legs are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the legs of this right triangle are 8 and 6. And then we use those to find the hypotenuse. But remember, so when the hypotenuse is missing, we are going to add. But we have to square the legs first. So 6 squared is 36. And 8 squared is 64. Since we're trying to find the hypotenuse, we're going to add the legs. So 36 plus 64 is 100. Okay. And then to get the actual length of the hypotenuse, we're going to take the square root of 100. So the final answer, which is the length of the hypotenuse, is 10. And that's all you do. So let's just take it into practice. Number 1, first things first is you're going to draw your legs of the right triangle. So I start with the highest point. I work my straight way going down and draw my triangle. I count how long the sides of the L are, the legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on this leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on that leg. So because these are the legs, we're going to add them. But first I have to square them. So 4 squared is 16. And 9 squared is 81. Then I add, because we're looking for the hypotenuse, so 97. But to find the length of the hypotenuse, we take the square root. That's my final step. So the square root of 97, if we round to the 10th place, is 9.8. So number 2, we first are going to draw our right triangle by forming that L. Okay, remember highest point goes straight down and across, and there's my right triangle. We want to count the sides of the legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is leg 1, and 1, 2, 3 is leg 2. But we got to square these first. So 7 squared is 49, and 3 squared is 9. Since we're finding the hypotenuse, we add the areas of our square, our length of the legs, and that's 58. But to get my final answer, we take the square root of 58, and we're going to round to the 10th place, so that's 7.6 as my final answer. And then it's just pretty repetitive after that. Notice when we're finding the distance, we don't subtract, because we're not looking for the legs, we're looking for the hypotenuse, so we're always going to add. So number 3, no different. We're going to first draw my L to form that right triangle. So the side lengths are 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so then we're going to square these. So 3 squared is 9. 8 squared is 64. So 9, we're going to add. 9 plus 64 is 73. But to find the length of the hypotenuse, we're going to take the square root. So my final answer for round to the 10th place is 8.5. A couple more like that. So first we draw our L to make our right triangle. Count the sides of the legs. So 1, 2 on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side. We're going to square both of them first. So 2 squared is 4, 6 squared is 36, and we're going to add. So 4 plus 36 is 40. But to find the length of the hypotenuse, we're going to take the square root. If we round to the 10th place, that is 6.3. Another way you can see it on the STAR test is like number 5, where they just ask the distance between R and Q, and they already connected R and Q, but in order to find how long R to Q is, we're going to first need to draw the rest of the triangle. So we're going to make that capital L to make that right angle. So now we count the sides of that capital L, so the legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And then we square both sides, so 5 squared is 25, 3 squared is 9. Since we're finding the hypotenuse again, we're going to add 25 plus 9 is 34. But to find the length of the hypotenuse, we're going to take the square root of 34. Oops. And my final answer for round to the tens place is 5.8. So number 6 is another way where they could set it up completely for you. You just have to count the sides of the legs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we got to square the legs first. So 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. Since we're looking for the hypotenuse, we're going to add 144 plus 25. We get 169, but then to find the final length, we're going to take the square root of 169, which is exactly 13. Now, the special cases are those that are vertical or horizontal already. So, like number 7, there is no right triangle to draw. And the reason being is, number 5, like I can't find the distance from R to Q because I can't count how long that is. It's because the line's going through all these squares. There's not an exact answer. So we had to form that right triangle to figure out the legs to find the hypotenuse. Whereas number 7 and 8, they are already perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal. So all I have to do is just count how long the length is. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And literally my answer is just 7. Same thing goes for number 8. When it's already perfectly vertical or horizontal, all I do is count how long that length is. So my answer is 6 on that one. Again, that only applies if it's vertical or horizontal. If it's diagonal, then I have to make my right triangle. I have to count the sides of the legs, add them, and then take the square root of them. So keep that in mind.